Okay.
Pace, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, are you a Marvel fan? I'm assuming.
So I am a late bloomer Marvel fan. I was just talking to someone about this a minute ago. When the project came to my desk, when this idea was born, I had no idea what Infinity Gems were, who Thanos was, what a gauntlet was. The idea was born, was developed by Adam Mercer, who's this fourth generation jeweler, a friend of mine, who was in an office working with a Disney executive and saw a large toy gauntlet on the table. And as someone who had been collecting and buying and selling important and rare gemstones for his whole life, and his dad and four generations of doing that, when he saw that, it was like, wait, you guys have a real one of those? And she was like, no. And that's where that came. And then I was sitting there one day and Adam tells me, hey, I think I'm gonna try to work with Marvel on creating a Infinity Gauntlet with gemstones. Explain. I'm like, start researching it. So for a while, I was just like watching the YouTube clips of the associated parts. But then once I got really into the project, I was like, okay, let me start from scratch. Sat down with my son. We're gonna have a plan to go through all the movies. And I've since really come around, and I've started to really appreciate the Marvel narrative, what it represents, what it means, and the creativity behind it.
Wow. So, what was the pitch like to Marvel? Were you yourself going to Marvel saying, "Hey, we got this idea"?
Yeah, pretty much. We after this conversation with this executive, she told us, "Well, put it together and let's see what we can do." And fast forward, and we put the idea together and spoke to their teams, and it really and they loved it, and we're really excited to have been able to create this sort of unique and new collaborative concept of real Infinity Gems.
So, did Kevin Feige give the official stamp of approval? Was he like the last guy?
Something like that. We're unfortunately we are unable to talk about any specifics of our contractual dealings with Disney or Marvel, but it was a really exciting and wonderful process working with the teams at both Marvel and Disney.
That's amazing. Okay, so Pace, let's get into this showroom in New York City. Congrats again to you and East Continential Gems, everybody involved. What a get! Holy cow! Now it came across my desk: $25 million Infinity Gauntlet. That is insane. Was that the goal off the top? Let's make a $25 million gauntlet.
So no, the way. So as I said, when we said let's make a real one, right? So we look at the scale. So first thing we do is start working with the teams at Marvel to get the files and get access to the archival photos and to really start crafting this gauntlet. And when we look at the scale, the 1-to-1, and this was going to be the 1-of-1, right? Because that was our ideas. We wanted to create 1-of-1 Infinity Gauntlet. The scale of it demands gemstones that are the size that would make sense in a 20-something inch gauntlet, which is what we're looking at behind me. So when you think about a Mind Stone, which is the largest stone and the center stone, and we were doing the 1-of-1, and we're gem lovers and collectors we weren't just going to take any gemstone. We were going to take the best of the best, and we just took 6 of the best for their class. So that number was just what happened when you take 6 incredibly rare and beautiful stones, stick them in a 1-of-1, 1-to-1 scale, Thanos Infinity Gauntlet. That's where that number comes from. A lot of that is backed by intrinsic value, right? The gems themselves are worth, some of them in the gauntlet are worth in the millions of dollars alone.
So what are the gems? What are those? What are the names of the gems?
So so the ones that are more recognizable would be the precious gemstones here. So you have a 30 carat, approximately 30 carat yellow diamond at the center of the Mind Stone. In the thumb, which is a little hard to see here, you have a beautiful 20 plus carat, 100-year-old emerald, which was like one of ours that we had in our vault forever and had held on to it, never wanted to touch it until this project came along. It's really a beautiful, special stone. And next to that, you have a amethyst, very rare and beautiful for that size. And then, of course, a sapphire and a ruby and a specialite garnet. Again, the beautiful, each in its class, really one of a kind gems.
Yeah, and obviously the rest of the gauntlet's gold, like any specific kind of gold.
So gold is actually harder to produce in the exacting dimensions and specifications that we wanted to create this one of one in the scale. So we used, the settings are all pure gold, but we worked with a studio that was able to, for this version, now we can do different iterations. In this particular iteration, the exacting was our goal. So we use the materials that would be most properly representation of the files that we had to work with.
So how long did it take to craft that gauntlet?
So the funny thing is that the hours, the hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of hours were done in the development of the product, and the actual hours, the man hours, were in the hundreds of hours, but I would say even more time was spent in the recreation and the translation of these, merging the worlds of jewelry and gemstones with pop culture and Marvel. So that was really where we spent a lot of time figuring that out.
Was there like a big team that came together to put this together?
It was a small team actually, but it was hilarious because it came down to, we're New Yorkers from, the jewelry district here on 47th Street, old school, and that's, right out of the textbook. And we had to get paired up with the prop replica studio out of LA. So it was like this weird convergence of people and like working together where you had like jewelers with pop culture collectors that a minute ago were working on Jabba the Hutt and coming together to create this gauntlet. So it was a very beautiful, like, sort of synergy of teams.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine how much time and effort it took to do that thing. And just curious, like, have you actually worn it? Have you put the gauntlet on?
So I may have put it on one of a time. I'm not gonna answer that question officially, but it's not developed to be worn in order to really make it. It's more of a sculpture. I think I would classify it. It is obviously a one of a kind piece that is not like, it's hard to even classify and define it, but it's more sculpture than it is glove.
Right. What does your kid think of it?
Oh my kid loves it. My 8-year-old son he thinks I am the coolest dad ever. Like, ever since he tells all his friends and like they go, is it true that you? Yes. And then I get to show them, and he's actually involved in the product development with me. I always like every product that we develop because he's in a way a longer Marvel fan than I am. Like I said, I just jumped on this. So I'll always show him, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, you think? And he's, oh, I like it. It's too small. It's too big. It's too this. Wow. So he's been a part of my research and product development team.
Oh man, that's awesome when you got the kid on board. It's a fun job what you're doing over there. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, okay, obviously the gauntlet is the headliner, but there's also other pieces that are Marvel inspired.
There are quite a few other pieces. That we, as gemologists and as jewelers and as people that just love gems, we took this as an opportunity to make gems relevant. We believe in gems. They've retained their value historically. We think that, it's somehow over the years, people have lost their enthusiasm around gems, some of the younger generation. And this was an opportunity for us to really, reframe a gem. Right, reframe what a gem means to the next generation of collectors and children, and so we have obviously on the high end these beautiful rare collectibles that we'll talk about. But I also just wanted to start with what our big picture vision, which is really allowing everyone that wants to own an Infinity Gem to have one, and that was with our Jarvis series, we call it. And those are semi-precious gemstones. And I have actually some here to show.
Cool.
So I'm just going to pull this out here.
All right. Show and tell. Awesome.
Yeah, there's a little show and tell here, and I'll pull them out individually to show you, or just pull. So like here, this is the Jarvis series. This is like you're looking at like a 2.5 carat amethyst sealed in this sort of plexi gem case that is sealed intentionally in a way that if this is broken, it'll be destroyed, because this way it retains its collectible value and its authenticity as a gemstone. These are all actual gemstones, not lab grown, not synthetic, pure gemstones, semi-precious, but gemstones and collectible. And these are offered at $225 a gem.
Wow. Okay.
So this is like every day, you know, you collect them one at a time or buy them as a set. But this is your everyday collector. You know, over the time, this will, you know, retain value. This is, again, like these are all actual gems. What's your favorite Infinity gem?
Time stone.
Time stone.
Yeah.
So here we go. Time stone. This is a
there you go.
Beautiful stone here, semi-precious. And all the information is listed on the back, all the detail.
Oh, that's cool.
Exactly what you're getting. And that's why we have the store here, is to allow people to interact with people that understand the gems, that can educate on the on the gem side, what you're looking at, what to look for in collecting gems, what are the good things and what are the weaker things, what are the strong points, what are the weak, you know, the intrinsic character traits that make a gem more valuable or more precious, and so on and so forth. So this is our Jarvis series that is available online, available here. It's sort of a no-brainer for someone that wants to own an Infinity gem.
So why do you call it a Jarvis series when it's the it's the Infinity Stones? Like, why do you call it the Jarvis series?
Well, we needed to call everything different series because we each have different classifications of how to label. So Jarvis it's funny that one of the designers that was part of this, and we're like a family business. We, like, everyone here is family, whether you're family or not, it's family. Awesome. So the designer of this was, his last name was Jarvis, and because of Jarvis with Iron Man, Jarvis is that robot, the artificial intelligence. So it felt right for us. We're like, okay, this is going to be our Jarvis series.
That's awesome.
So yeah, go ahead.
Before you were coming up with the idea of all the showroom and whatnot, so who's deciding what to showcase? Okay, obviously Gauntlet, that is an easy decision. So then you got Infinity Stones, okay. Any other relics? Like, I think I read Eye of Agamotto.
Okay. So yeah, we spent the last year pretty much in product development, and just creating the different one-of-a-kind pieces using Infinity gems. And in general, the space serves as a Marvel sort of collector's den or lair. Where we have our own collection, and we'll go through those. I have some more show and tell, don't worry. But we just, in general, the space here is sort of sprinkled with all types of interesting memorabilia, comic books, artifacts that we've worked on, even early versions that we scrapped and just have them on display. Some rare Marvel cards, the PMG. Some collectors drop them off just to put on display to let the fans interact with them. So we just really took anything Marvel and Infinity Gem related. It's a whole bunch of Infinity Gem comics here. So just to allow sort of to tell the story of the Infinity Gems. So you were asking about the Eye of Agamotto, which I'll jump to that. Well, yeah. Let me jump to that because it's just too exciting. It's sitting here, and every time
just looking at you.
These are on the higher end, and this is a new product line that it's only available in
the gloves on.
And we have to use them. So this is part of our GMT series. This one. This is
beauty.
Smaller. And this has like a 2.5 carat emerald inside, and this is all handcrafted by our jeweler here in New York. Really detailed. And this took, like you were asking before, this took hundreds and hundreds of hours to create. And this is a hand braided, leather sort of necklace that we had to like use the archival photographs to sort of get as close as possible as we could to the film. And this is also made in a beautiful brass with a gold sort of section here to like make that gem really pop.
Oh yeah.
This is the GMT series because we created the series around each of the 24 time zones in the world. So there'll be 24 editions of these, each in different sizes and scales. So this is a 2.5 carat one. This is GMT plus 12. You know, and this is $25,000 based on the construction of this beautiful piece of jewelry, really, or collector's sort of a medallion, and a 2.5 carat super emerald in the middle. But they range in price based on the size of the gem and the size of the, you know, scaled appropriately medallion, ranging to much larger, too small. And we have our one of one also on display here, which was created earlier this year and then subsequently sold to a collector for an undisclosed number. But that was, you know, so these are all the GMT series. But getting back to our cards, our collectors, which is like really around these Infinity Gems, which everything here we do is essentially taking this Infinity Gem concept to the next level. Sure. So I'll pull out here some of our Genesis series, which are this beautiful precious gems. Here's like a time stone, and you said time stone, so I'll pull out, you know, this is a pretty much a 1 carat gemstone, sealed. This has all the details, and it's also certified by a third-party gem laboratory for authenticity. Has all the information. These are one of 300 of these, and they're just really, really beautiful. They come with, you know, here I have the, you know, the certificate of authenticity, as well as these beautiful. So I'll pull out real quick. Sure. You know, sort of carrying cases, sort of right out of, you know, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right, yeah.
Mounted in here. So yeah, this is sort of your, you know, your collector's, you know, Infinity Gems. This is a time stone. And these are all unique in their carat weights. Each one of them is really different. They start at like 1/2 carat and go to over 2 carats, and they're priced accordingly. So $1,700 and up based on the carat weight of your gem.
So what's been the feedback, Pace? Customers are loving it, or are they buying stuff? What's going on?
Incredible. And I think the carrot at the end of all this is whether you're collecting on, you know, you're collecting on the Jarvis level, the semi-precious, you know, everyday people who are putting it in these beautiful display boards, or you're collecting these Genesis series. What's really been the exciting piece that you can come in here and get your own collector's edition gauntlet, nice, crafted to fit your gems. And this is fully brass, and customized to your Infinity Gems that you in your collection, right? And this is just scaled beautifully, and comes off, and there's a beautiful display case number. There's only 200 of these, using those stones we talked about that will be made, and it's really something special. That's a yellow diamond, and that's a emerald in there, and it's really beautiful. It's available in both a high gloss, what you're looking at, as well as a sort of a patina, more rustic finish, closer to the one of one, and the sort of, but just to give it that extra pop on your desk, we did this in a high gloss as well.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, like Pace, you guys have quite a few, you know, products at your showroom. So it must have taken forever to create all of that stuff, because I'm assuming it's not like an assembly line. It's like people coming together, right?
It's done all, like I mentioned, all here in New York with the first time when we brought the project to our jeweler, he was like, his head exploded from like looking at these VFX files, and like what are we making? A gauntlet? Like, he's been sitting making, you know, just vintage and beautiful jewelry and earrings and necklaces and rings and a gauntlet. But yeah, we took the time, we went through it, we brought in the people, and everything's handcrafted. Every step of the way is done the same way we've been making our jewelry for the past 4 generations, but we're doing it in a gauntlet. And between me and you, there's some other exciting products on the way.
Ooh, care to share?
Well, I think one of them that I think will be very exciting because of all the activity we're seeing around Loki is a Loki scepter that we are working at. With that, we actually had to go to a blacksmith, believe it or not, because our jewelers, like, they were like, this is not really a fit for us. And I'm like, so who can make me a beautiful one of one Loki scepter? And I was like, maybe a blacksmith. Are those still around? sure enough, I found this team out of Long Island. That's where I live, actually, and
Okay, cool.
they're going to be Spirit Ironworks, and they're going to be helping us do that, and we're really excited about that. And that's coming in the next like 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, goodness. That's amazing news. Awesome, Pace. So, okay, I forgot to ask, how much is that gauntlet right there, the brass
So
one?
these gauntlets, they're really based on the gems that you choose to put in there, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
So if it's a half carat, this would come out to about 16,000.
Got it.
Because you have each of the gems plus the cost of the gauntlet, but it goes up from there, to whatever, pretty much depending on the gems.
That's awesome, Pace. Listen, man, this has been great. Can you let everybody know where they could see all this awesome stuff? Like where, how long is the showroom going to be up, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at 26 Mercer, and we're here till the end of the year. And we might stick around for longer, but right now we're just until we sell out of these capsule, and these are moving quickly. We're getting a lot of orders for Christmas and for holiday season. And we're also, some of these products are also available online at eastcontinentalgems.com, as well as on our Instagram at East Continential Gems.
Terrific. Pace, thank you for the education. Congrats again, and all the best.
Thank you so much.